Hello and welcome everyone to the Polity Primer series of Drishti IAS. My name is Pragya and today we are going to discuss a very important topic. The title of our today's discussion is Comparative Analysis of Presidents in USA and India. In this discussion, we will be studying about firstly the background of the topic, then we will study and draw a comparison between the presidents in the USA and India, and in the end we are going to see a practice question for your prelims examination and a practice question for your mains examination. So if I talk about the background of our today's topic, as you all know, India and USA both are democracies, but the system of governance in USA and India are different. The form of government in India is the parliamentary form of government, in which the head of the government is the Prime Minister of India. Prime Minister of India. On the other hand, the United States of America follows the presidential form of government, in which the president of the USA is the head of the government. So, this is the distinction between the system of governance followed in the USA and India. But both of these democracies have one post in common, and that is the president, the post of president. So, we will be studying about and drawing an comparative analysis between the presidents in the USA and India. So, the first point of distinction is being the head of the state. Okay. So, as you all know, in USA, the president is both the head of the state as well as the head of the government. But in India, the president is only the head of the state and not of the government, and the head of the government in India is the Prime Minister of India. President of the USA is the real executive. So, executive can be classified into real executive and nominal executive. So, in USA, the president is the real executive. Why? Because he is the head of the government. Okay, so he is the de facto executive. So, in India, who is the de facto executive? The Prime Minister of India. On the other hand, if you talk about the Indian president, he is just a nominal head. He is just the head of the state, or a titular head, similar to the British monarchy. Okay, so this is a basic point of distinction, that in USA, the president is the de facto executive, but in India, the president is the de jure executive. Okay, moving forward, there is a distinction in the manner of election also of the USA president and the Indian president. In USA, the manner of election is direct election. Okay, what do you mean by direct election? That the people are directly voting to elect their president, but this does not happen in India. In India, the president is indirectly elected by help of a electoral college. Electoral college. Okay, and let me know in the comment box below what is the composition of this electoral college responsible for electing the president of India. Now, moving forward, there is a difference in term of office as well in both of the presidents. In USA, the president is elected for a term of just 4 years, and he can be re-elected only once. Kindly note this point. This is a very important distinction between the USA president and the Indian president. Okay, in USA, what happens is he is just re-elected only once, and this maintains the independence of the post. But in India, what happens is the tenure is 5 years, that is 1 year more than the US president tenure, and the president can be re-elected for n number of times. This distinction is also there because Indian president is a de jure executive, okay, and the US president is the de facto executive or the real executive or the head of the government. So, to maintain the impartiality of the post, to maintain the independence of the post, only one re-election is allowed, but same is not the case with Indian president. Moving forward, there is a difference in the responsibility to the legislature as well. The US president is not responsible to the legislature. He functions very independently. On the other hand, the president of India is a part of the union executive. Okay. Article 79 of our Indian Constitution talks about the composition of the parliament, and it specifically states that the Parliament includes the president and the two houses that are the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha. So basically, the president in India is a part of the union executive, but same is not the case with the US president. He is independent of the legislature and is not a part of any legislature, and henceforth is not responsible to the legislature. So is completely independent post in the USA. Okay, moving forward, let us understand the difference in impeachment procedure of both the United States of America president and Indian president. So impeachment means removal. Okay, and impeachment is a very important power of checks and balances that is given in the constitutions around the jurisdictions, because president is a very important post. It is a very dignified post. So there has to be a check and balance in the use of the president's powers and to prevent any misuse of the president's powers. So let us comparatively analyze the impeachment procedure for both US president and Indian president. Okay. So if you ask me, ma'am, what are the grounds on which the presidents in India and USA can be impeached? So in case of the president of USA, the grounds include conviction of treason, bribery or other high crimes or misdemeanors. Okay, but in Indian constitution there is just one ground that is specified, and that is the violation of the constitution. And where exactly it is specified? It is specified in article 56 clause 1 subclause B. Okay, so in India the president can be removed only on one ground, that is violation of the constitution. There is no exact definition of the violation of the constitution given in our constitution. It is interpreted from facts and circumstances of the case. For example, the president goes on acting against the basic structure doctrine of our Indian constitution. The presidents act against the advice of the Council of Ministers. So you can say that these are the examples of the violation of the constitution. It is completely a question of fact and is interpreted from the case to case basis. Okay. Then in the USA, the exclusive power to impeach the president rests in the House of the Representatives, and the trial is conducted by the Senate. So you can say that in USA, the impeachment of president is a judicial process. Okay. On the other hand, in the case of Indian president, the charges can initiate in either house of the parliament, that is the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha, and the charge should be supported by 1/4 of the members. 1/4 of the members in that house in which the charge is originally initiated. Okay, so this is a difference between the power to remove or power to impeach. In the USA, it lies in the hands of the House of Representatives and the Senate conducts the trial. On the other hand, in the Indian scenario, the power is lying with both the houses of the parliament. Okay. Then any member of the House of the Representatives can introduce a resolution of impeachment. Okay. And in Indian case, it can be initiated by either house of the parliament. Okay. So this also forms a very important distinction, that only the member of House of Representative in case of USA can bring a motion for impeachment, but this is not in the case of India. The impeachment procedure can be introduced in any house of the parliament, and after the impeachment procedure has been introduced, the president is given 14 days time to respond on the charges. Okay, so you can say that Indian process is a quasi-judicial process, because trial is conducted in USA, so it is a judicial process. The CGI is also involved, and in the Indian scenario, there is no involvement of the CGI. The USA president also gets a defense lawyer in his defense, but in the Indian scenario, the president himself defends his charges. Okay, there is no lawyer or defense lawyer that is provided to the president of India. Okay, then majority, there is also a difference in majority. In USA, a simple majority, that is 51% in the House of Representatives and 2/3, that is 67% in the Senate is required to impeach the president. In the Indian scenario, 2/3, that is 67% of the total membership of the House that framed the charges, and 2/3, that is 67% of the total membership of the other House. You see that both the houses have equal powers in this regard, and that is why they have equal majority as well. In both the houses, you require at least 2/3 of the members voting on the resolution which it has brought to impeach the president. In USA, there is one more important distinction, that USA impeachment is just a first step towards removal of president. It does not mean that it will immediately remove the US president. No, he has to be convicted first by the Senate, and then only he will be removed. In India, this does not happen. Immediate removal does not happen, but we vote on the charges. The members vote on the charges, and then the resolution is passed, and then the president is removed. Okay. So this is the major points of distinction between the impeachment process of USA president and Indian president. Article 1 and 2 of the US Constitution talk about the impeachment of the US president, and Article 61 of our Indian Constitution talks about the impeachment of the Indian president. There is also one misconception. We often use that the CGI is impeached. No, the Indian Constitution only talks about impeachment of president, not impeachment of judges. This is a very common misconception. Judges are always removed from their post, not impeached from their post. So whenever you now study that the CGI has been impeached, don't consider it as correct. The CGI is removed. Only impeachment of president is mentioned in our Indian Constitution. Okay. Then independence of office. There is also a difference in US president and Indian president in terms of independence of office. Okay. The Indian president needs to act as per the advice of the Council of Ministers while discharging his duties. He has absolutely no discretionary powers given to him in our Indian Constitution. On the other hand, the US president is very independent. In fact, he is the head of the cabinet, and he can remove the cabinet and appoint the cabinet. Okay, so he is not bound by the advice of his cabinet, but on the other hand, the Indian president is bound by the advice of the cabinet as per the judgment of the Supreme Court in Ramjabaya Kapoor versus Union of India. Okay, so this is the landmark judgment in which the Supreme Court has said that yes, the president is bound by the aid and advice of the Council of Ministers. So there is a certain degree of independence that is associated with the US president. Why? Because he is also the head of the government. He is directly heading the government, and he is directly working for the people of the United States of India. On the other hand, India follows a parliamentary form of government. So the parliament is elected, the Lok Sabha is elected, and the PM is the head of the government, and elected representatives work for the people in India. And as president is indirectly elected, therefore he is definitely bound by the aid and advice that is given to him by the elected representatives. So this is also a major distinction between the post of US president and Indian president, that yes, there is a certain degree of independence in the post of the US president, while in the case of Indian president, he is definitely bound by the aid and advice of his Council of Ministers. With this, we come to a conclusion of our today's discussion. We have seen that India and USA both are democracies, but they follow different system of governance. The US follows a presidential system, and the India follows the parliamentary form of government. Okay, but there is one post that is common, and that is the post of president. We have also elaborately discussed that how USA president is different from Indian president. Now let us discuss a practice question for your prelims examination. So the question is, consider the following statements. Your statement number 1 is the president can be removed for violation of the Constitution. Your statement number 2 is the impeachment process can be initiated in either house of the parliament. Your statement number 3 is impeachment process is a judicial process. Okay, so which of the following statements given above are correct? Your options are: option A is 1 and 2 only, option B is 2 only, option C is 2 and 3 only, and option D is 1, 2 and 3. Kindly drop your answers in the comment box below. Now let us analyze a practice question for your mains examination. So the question is, draw a comparative analysis between the presidents of India and the USA. So in introduction, you can write, as I have introduced my topic today, that yes, though the system of governance in both these democracies are different, but one post is common, and that is the post of president. And then you will write the various points of distinction as I have discussed in my discussion today. And then you can conclude holistically, yes, they are different in nature. On one hand, the US president is the real executive, while the Indian president is a jure executive. He is just the head of the state and not the head of the government. And then you can conclude holistically. Okay, I hope this session was insightful for you. If you have any feedback regarding this session, kindly drop it in the comment box below. If you liked today's discussion and found it to be helpful, kindly like the video and subscribe to our channel for more such updates. Thank you.